Hello and welcome to Tech and Sports Podcast. Tech and Sports is a show about how technology is revolutionizing all the major sports as well as health and fitness. You can find this episode from your podcast service of choice. Hello everyone, I'm Powell, editor of Tech and Sports. With me today is Mandy Kovacs, aka the Carlton Kid.
What
up,
up?
Mandy?
Hi.
The Big Red Dude, Alex Reddew, is here too. That
Hello,
rhymed.
hello as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Collectively, we are your third stringers. We got a ton of news to get through this week, including LeBron James in a self-driving car, news from Samsung, an update on the Volvo Ocean Race, and with the World Series coming to a close, is Moneyball hurting America's pastime? Plus, incredibly hard trivia. So sit back and don't panic because the third stringers are coming into the game. All right, Mandy, I believe you have the master list. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, let's do this. So first up, we have a cool new virtual reality-based video game that lets you see and play from the perspective of a hockey goalie. So it was developed by a Toronto-based company called Hailstone Games, Inc., and it went live just a few weeks ago, and it's available for $9.99 on Steam or any of the app stores, and it can be played on either the HTC Vive or Oculus Rift right now. And so they're getting some great feedback, and I had a chance to talk with their CEO, Ryan Luck, who told me that he's really excited about the game and the feedback the company has gotten so far. And what's cool is that they actually want to turn it into a training tool at some point for actual goalies. And while he said that they're not currently working with anyone in the NHL or AHL or anything, they're starting to add new features like being able to choose where the virtual player shoots the puck. So you can specify like top shelf, 5-hole, that type of thing, which can help transition it into a training tool if you want to practice saving certain shots or whatever. And I haven't had a chance to test it out myself yet, but a similar game was taken out for public use at a Toronto Marlies game a couple weekends ago, and everyone seemed to like it. So I think going forward, you can probably expect to see this game out on different concourses for fans to enjoy during intermissions. Sounds pretty cool.
I think so. So I can just put on my VR headset and pretend that I'm...
Either your HTC Vive or Oculus Rift, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those extremely affordable VR sets.
Yeah.
And pretend like I'm Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
And make saves.
Hopefully you make more saves than him in the last couple games.
Let's hope so, yes.
Man, you Toronto fans have no faith in Freddie.
He'll get there. He always has a rough first few games.
He is a former Duck, right?
Yeah, and he's killer in the playoffs.
That's true.
Just like he was last year.
Not hating on him. I like Freddie,
I'm just saying.
I like Freddie.
Yeah.
Good.
So this game is pretty cool, right?
All right.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of, we've talked about this in the past, in VR kind of thing for quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like how each sport is kind of taking in like the virtual reality to see what they can kind of do with training, because I mean, granted, like this isn't exactly the most affordable training system right now, but I think virtual reality when it comes to goalies could be pretty cool. Though latency and lag and all that sort of stuff might make it difficult if you're trying to time it correctly and all that.
Yeah, that's true. I tried the wide receiver VR last year when I was at the U.S. Bank Stadium, and that had a lot of lag.
Yeah.
Still a lot of fun. So what does a person see? Does it see like a Zdeno Chara slap shot from the point and make the save? Or?
Well, I mean, I think those are the features that they're adding to it. Like you can choose what kind of shots and where they would be shooting you at. But yeah, you have the view of a goalie with like the mask even in front of you, like the grills.
Oh, I see.
And you just have like virtual players coming at you, shooting pucks at you.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it seems kind of cool. And so next up, we have LeBron James showing his support for Intel and its work on self-driving cars. The basketball star appeared in an Intel ad titled Fearless that's trying to accelerate consumer acceptance of an autonomous car future. So the commercial basically shows a driverless car coming to pick LeBron up, and after a few hesitant looks, he gets in and actually starts to enjoy himself, with the ad ending in him videoing the ordeal and saying that he's going to keep the car. So I don't know, just a fun little sport and tech cameo there.
Yeah, the thing is with self-driving cars, I don't think they really need LeBron James to publicize it because people are doing it right now. Like I just interviewed the COO of Pure Storage, and he goes to work in a self-driving car, and he
That's awesome.
Wait,
looks
where does he do that?
They're based in San Francisco.
That makes sense.
So,
Silicon Valley.
yeah, okay. So
they're allowed to test them there now.
I know they're allowed to test them, but I didn't know people were actually using them.
Does that count as testing?
Yeah.
Him going to work?
He uses them.
That's
and I mean, he sits there in the front seat and he looks over documents and what's on his phone while, the car just drives itself.
LeBron did get into the back seat. So,
because
that doesn't mean anything.
He wants to be chauffeured.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it is exactly what it is. They're trying to raise awareness and try to, calm people down about, the potential zombie car thing that Alex wrote about once in The Fast and the Furious.
Security is important when it comes to self-driving cars. And
yes, it is.
Zombie cars are real. I really like that LeBron did this because I think you do need to bring that awareness. Because, I wouldn't get into a self-driving car right now.
But if LeBron can do it...
Or, I would on, a private course or whatever, I would never trust a car driving me.
In real life,
From, my house here to our office.
Especially not on the highways.
Yeah, I'm just it's just not, I don't know what it is yet. It's just, I'll wait for 10 years until it's all good. I don't want to be the test subject. But, so I think the majority of people feel closer to how I feel rather than maybe the CEO of Pure Storage. So, LeBron doing this is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and now we have a follow-up of one of our previous stories. Do you guys remember Hayley Dawson, that 7-year-old girl with a 3D printed robotic arm that wanted to throw out the first pitch at every MLB ballpark?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
I believe that was your story, Alex?
Yep.
Well, so she threw out the first pitch at Game 4 of the World Series on Saturday, which the Dodgers ended up winning 6-2. So just a big congratulations to her. And we'll keep you guys updated on whether she accomplishes her goal next season. I believe she's thrown it at 2 ballparks so far, and she has invites. 3. Yeah, and has invites for all the rest of the teams next season. So I'm sure she'll get there.
Yeah, it's a really cool, light-hearted, feel-good story about, technology helping girls' dreams come true.
And I saw that the 3D stuff had little baseball motifs on it, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they keep making customized ones for I saw a Nationals one, an Orioles one, and I guess this was an Astros one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So no, it's really cool what they're doing.
Yeah, it's super cute.
That goes to how fast 3D printing is taking off. You don't have to really wait months to get these things. You can get them same day.
Yeah, I believe it was printed by the University of Nevada.
Yeah,
if I
University
recall
of
correctly.
Nevada is the one who's making them.
Yeah, cool. And then another follow-up, Powell was talking about the Volvo Ocean Race several episodes ago. And for those 1.5 billion people that do follow the race, the 2017-2018 edition has officially begun. It launched off the coast of Spain with the help of IT services company HCL Technologies. So, Paolo, do you want to give us a quick recap of this?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really talk about sailing on
don't.
the show, but it is quite the feat. Imagine a sporting event that lasts more than 9 months and travels more than 72,000 kilometers. That's 39,000 nautical miles, all on water. That's the Volvo Ocean Race. And yes, HCL Technologies was named earlier. This is where we got the story initially, to be the Volvo Ocean Race's strategic IT solution provider. And they'll be responsible for developing an IT infrastructure that will form the technology backbone of the race.
Mm-hmm. What I didn't realize, though, is that they don't actually win any money for this. Imagine going on an 8-month-long, sailing trip and you don't win anything. They get their name on a trophy. That's it.
It's all about getting that Sir Francis Drake recognition. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't about that. I'm sorry. I need some money with that. That's a long time.
Listen, sailing is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Just look at Larry Ellison, who's worth, I believe, $7 billion. The founder and CEO of Oracle won the America's Cup race, and I'm sure he spent for the whole entire ordeal there. So yeah, sailing is.
That's true. I guess you wouldn't be doing this trip if you didn't have money.
There's no paid attendance and sponsorship opportunity or TV rights to make up for creating these really fast boats. It just costs too much. I'm not surprised there's no prize money, but there is recognition.
That's fair. All right, moving on. We have some health and fitness news for you next. I had the chance to review Fitbit's new smartwatch and wireless headphones a few weeks ago, and now Samsung has come out with a new line of smartwatches and wearables as well. So it's unveiled the Gear Sport, which is your typical fitness-focused smartwatch that's water-resistant and can track your exercise. But what's unique about this is that it can also sync with your Samsung Smart TV. And why that's necessary, I'm not really sure. I don't know, maybe it's for the people that do the weird Zumba things on their TVs. I don't know. I have no idea why that'd be necessary, to be honest.
Maybe
there you go.
You want the stats or something? I don't know.
Maybe it's you know, how CP24 has all the weather stats and news stats all on a graphical display. Maybe that's what this is.
Maybe. I don't know. But so that is available for $399.99 in stores across Canada right now. Then there's also its Gear S3, which is the premium smartwatch that, again, comes with all the usual features of fitness tracking, GPS, water and dust resistance, and this is a little more expensive at $469.99.
Yeah, so the Gear S3 came out last year for them, like, officially.
I think this is their updated version.
This is their updated one. I got to use it last year. It's pretty cool.
Is it?
It's all right. It's big. Like when you think of like the Apple Watch or like the Fitbit, because it's like this, but it's interesting because it is that circular kind of gear,
right?
Rather than like the square look that a lot of other ones go.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. One of our coworkers really liked it a lot, and he uses it a lot. But the thing with the Samsung Smart stuff is that they're like trying to compete with Fitbit and Apple, but I just don't think that they're anywhere near actually succeeding in doing that.
I don't know, especially with all of these prices, because so there's one more, it's just a fitness tracking band, but it tracks like swim, GPS, and it comes with improved automatic activity detection, but that itself is still going for $300 Canadian. And to me, just for like a band, that seems a little overpriced, but I mean, we haven't had a chance to test these out yet, so maybe they work better than Fitbit and Apple.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's already been consolidation in this area, right? Pebble's been acquired by Fitbit. Microsoft Band is nowhere to be seen. The Epson Pulse didn't go far. But I'm sure there'll be 3 alternatives for users.
Yeah, at least you're getting different alternatives here. Yeah. And then they also launched their second generation of cord-free Icon X Fitness earbuds that now come with enhanced music playback, better battery life, and a standalone fitness coach like Fitbit also introduced. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye on how their move goes against Fitbit, but...
Yeah, it'll be really interesting in January, February, when we start to see holiday sales numbers and all these, how the Apple Watch Series 3, I think it's Series 3, is the new one.
Yeah.
The Fitbit Ionic, and then, the updated Gear S3 and stuff like that, how they're really doing, because I really thought last year that smartwatches were going to be this huge thing, and it doesn't seem like it.
Well, apparently Apple's new smartwatch is doing really well.
Yeah. So
crazy.
So we'll see. I mean, they're all still really expensive, and I think, I imagine there's a future for them, but we'll see.
To some extent.
There is a future for them. No, there's no doubt about it.
Okay, moving on. For all the swimmers out there, like Alex and I, you may be interested in this story. A triathlete turned inventor just developed a groundbreaking heads-up display for swimmers called Zwim. So just like how heads-up displays are becoming popular in cars, so you don't have to look away from what's in front of you for any information like speed, this technology is now moving into the sporting world, and the product is called Zwimmers, and they're basically just a pair of smart goggles that integrate near-eye display into the lens that allows swimmers to see their real-time performance data, like how many laps they've swam, their lap times, how many calories they've burned, and their heart rate. So they basically look like normal goggles, but they have an optical sensor on their strap that sits around your temple area that tracks all of this data. And is currently trying to find funding on Indiegogo. They're trying to raise $20,000, and so far they've got about $6,000 with about a month left for funding. And if they do reach that funding, it's expected to retail for about $200 US.
So that's really cool technology. Expensive.
Yes.
So like $200 when goggles are like $15 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Is interesting, but I think it's super cool. The immediate application for me is like when you're doing backstroke, at least when I was in high school swimming and all that, we'd always like you'd count from how many strokes it took you from the flag to the wall, so you knew when to flip and stuff like that.
5 every time.
I forget what mine was.
Oh. Shame.
Probably less than 5, though.
Probably.
But I'm taller than you.
You're much taller than me.
So it'd be really cool to see, like, if that heads-up display was doing that. It would also be cool just to be, like, it would give you something to stare at.
Yeah.
Because swimming is this very isolated sport where you're just in your head, and it's really calming in that way. But it'd be kind of really cool when you're just, like, during practice or something like that, I can actually see like how many lengths of the pool you've gone, like how the distance between things. It's a really cool idea.
Right? I think it would just be super motivating. Like, I want this. I'm probably going to go fund it at some point, actually, because I want to test it out.
Yeah, this will be successful. As the only non-swimmer of the third stringers here, this is a training tool. Mm-hmm. Just like, you would spend, let's say, a few $100s on cleats for baseball or basketball or, others. Look at golf, for example, the amount of gadgets that are there to improve that game there. So I think this is going to go far for sure.
Yeah, and continuing with the swimming theme now, the Canadian swim team has actually announced a partnership with Triton Wear, which is a Toronto-based sports tech company, and they're going to start next month and for the first time have access to all the data and information to help out with their training and overall performance for hopefully competitive advantage. So with Triton Wear, the team wants to focus on improving the efficiency of their relay takeovers, and they're going to begin looking at variable isolation, as in looking at all the different factors they can actually fix to improve their performance. And what I didn't realize is that the Canadian swim team is actually no stranger to tech and trying to improve their performance. They've also been using a small fitness tracking wristband by Swimlytics recently to improve their swim performance as well. And I think this all kind of stems from having one of their best Olympics ever in Rio last year, where the Canadian swim team won 6 medals, and they're now looking to improve in Tokyo. It's pretty exciting, right?
Pretty excited for Canada.
Yeah.
Way to go, Penny Alexiak.
Penny Alexiak, yeah.
She's great.
Good old Toronto girl. Okay, moving on. So we in the tech and sports family have been playing around with some of the voice assistants like Siri and Alexa and Google recently, and it looks like some athletes are as well. Buster Posey is the catcher for the San Francisco Giants, and he's now hosting a daily contest called Full Count Baseball Trivia that's available as an Amazon Alexa skill. So essentially, when you tell Alexa to play this trivia game, Buster, an announcer, will ask you 6 questions every day all year, and you have about 10 seconds to guess the answer. And it's like basically an interactive voice game using Amazon Alexa. And apparently Buster and his co-host also crack some jokes and get into some snarky banter for your entertainment as well. But I mean, it sounds fun. And everyone on the Amazon App Store actually seemed to really like it as well. It's all 5-star ratings. And the contest actually comes with a leaderboard too. So every correct answer you give, you get points for it. And they can be accumulated to climb in the rankings. There are 7 levels. You can be a rookie, a minor leaguer, a major leaguer, Hall of Famer, and everything in between. So I thought that was fun. And I also did some more research and I found out that the company who produces this is called Ground Control, and they've also teamed up with the Minnesota Timberwolves center Karl Anthony Towns and San Diego Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers for similar contests for any of you who'd prefer basketball or instead of baseball trivia. And they've also teamed up with former Vice President Joe Biden and comedian Mike Epps as well.
Uncle Joe Biden.
Yeah, so it sounds fun. I'm going to go test that out for sure.
Sadly, the Chargers moved to L.A.
That's true.
Can you imagine incredibly hard trivia on Alexa? We should do that.
Yeah, we should have an interactive thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I'm just waiting for my hockey trivia, and I'm all good.
I can come up with the questions, and you guys just get them all wrong.
Yeah.
Sounds like so much fun.
It's almost like it sounds like what we're already doing.
But on Alexa, though.
Yes.
No, what's really cool about the fact that it's a San Francisco Giants player is it's really interesting how all these San Francisco teams are really embedding themselves in technology. Look at the Warriors, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all those guys, the team itself. Look at the Giants, Hunter Pence,
Buster
Posey, like all these teams are really doing well. So it really shows that because they're in Silicon Valley, the majority of their big fans are tech folks. How they're really running the pack, leading the pack when it comes to technology and sports. Yeah,
the whole ecosystem is just rubbing off on sports, and it's great. And kind of going off of that, an extra fun story today. Toronto Raptors shooting guard Norman Powell has teamed up with GoDaddy.com to showcase his musical abilities while also promoting the website building company. So he used GoDaddy to build his own website with the address powellonthepiano.ca. And he's posted a song called No Problem that features his vocals and kind of rapping, I don't know, as well as his piano playing skills. And it's actually pretty decent. Maybe go check that out. This also kind of follows Jonas Valanciunas from last year with his itty bitty baller figurines on GoDaddy.
I never got tired of those commercials.
Never. Honestly, that's probably my favorite series of commercials of all time.
Yeah, you gotta love Jonas.
Right? So great. And last but not least, for those of you who tuned in last week when we were talking about how the majority of sports fans still prefer to watch games on traditional TVs, apparently in the first 4 games of Thursday Night Football in the NFL, Amazon streaming saw 7.1 million views worldwide, which is not that great, but I mean, the company did take over Thursday night rights from Twitter for this season, and all of its numbers so far have been superior to Twitter, and I think Amazon is pretty happy with that. The average tune-in time is 55 minutes, which is up from Twitter's 22 minutes, and it saw an audience of 372,000 viewers worldwide in its first game in September between the Packers and the Bears, which was again up from Twitter's numbers last year of only 243,000 for its first game between the Jets and the Bills. So
I think it's interesting how I think the fact that Amazon has a bigger platform, it has more customers, it has more users. I think that really helps it. I think it also has better. I think it has better bandwidth too. Like I mean, I'm not sure. Like if whenever you watch streaming on Twitter, it's not always 100% great. Yeah. And things are Twitter's definitely getting better at that. Mm-hmm. But I also think Twitter just has like a stigma. Like if you're not already on Twitter, there's no reason for you to get to Twitter now. That's true. But everyone uses Amazon. So I think that kind of helps just right off the bat.
It's bigger, faster, stronger, and also more reliable. So that's what sports fans want. Yeah. They want to watch the game right to the end.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if streaming, especially because it's Amazon now, is actually doing a better job of retaining viewers and taking it away from traditional TV.
Okay, so before we move into our debate section, let's go to impossibly hard trivia. So, Game 5 of the World Series was a classic, a 10-inning back and forth.
It was a 10-hour game, my gosh.
Well,
I was at one of those.
We're going to be talking about 10-hour games in this next segment, but so Jose Altuve, the Houston Astros second baseman, hit what was arguably one of the greatest home runs in the Fall Classic in Game 5. Altuve, if the Astros win, will more than likely be named MVP, and he's just a great player. He's also the shortest player.
He's very tiny
in the MLB at 5'5" tall. But Altuve is only the second shortest player to ever play the game. And my question to you guys is, who is the shortest? I have some clues if you want it.
No, you know what? I don't like when we do clues. Let's just guess.
I want
no, it's more. So
can you give us a clue of when they played? Like, is it current right now?
It happened in 1951. Oh. It was a publicity stunt by owner Bill Veeck to get people to go out and see his really bad team, the St. Louis Browns. I know the St. Louis Browns no longer exist.
All right. Well, so because I'm never going to be able to guess his name, you could probably give me 400 guesses. I probably wouldn't get it. I'm going to guess instead how short he was. And I'm going to guess it was 4'11".
No, he stood 3 feet 7 inches.
Okay, is it that guy that plays Mini-Me?
No.
In Austin Powers?
No.
Okay. Because that's all I got for you. You said it was a publicity stunt, so I thought...
It was a publicity stunt. I'll give you 2 more clues, then we'll move on.
I mean, I'm not going to give...
I want to hear the clues.
Okay, fine.
You want to hear the clues? Yeah. Okay. His jersey number was 1/8.
That's terrible.
I know, it's very terrible
God.
with Bill Veeck.
This wouldn't fly even 15 years ago.
Did he actually agree to this, or was he forced to do it?
He did. So sad. He only played 1 game. He had 1 plate appearance. And of course, because, he was so short, the pitcher walked him on 4 pitches because he couldn't find strike zone because, again, he was too short. So,
wow.
You guys are never going to get this.
No,
so
never.
We'll move on. It's Eddie Goodell.
Eddie Goodell. But any relation to Roger Goodell?
No, not
hopefully
the same.
soon to be ex-commissioner of the NFL.
Not the same spelling. Gaedel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Goodell. Okay.
Interesting.
Let's move on to our debate.
Fun facts.
Right. So for our debate today, it's quite simple. Are all of the analytics used in the game of baseball too much? Are we ruining baseball? Are we ruining sports?
Dun, dun, dun.
Paulo, how about you kick it off?
So we got a ton of stats just over the weekend from the 2017 season. I'm just going to go over some of the highlights of it, but please interject with whatever you want. We can discuss it.
All right.
You don't have to have me reading all this through. But Moneyball may have revolutionized baseball, if not all team sports, by providing hard data to these games. But, is big data analytics providing baseball fans with enough entertainment value? I've gone on record many times saying that the death of the stolen base is cause for concern for baseball going forward. Well, we now have data to back this up. So in the 2017 season, there was an average gap of 3.48 seconds between balls in play. Mm-hmm. This is an all-time high. There are more pitching changes than ever, and time between pitches also increased. This data was, by the way, provided by Fangraphs.com. Just to give you some background on them, they get their data through a Pennsylvania solution provider called Baseball Info Solutions. What they do is mostly developed on the Microsoft technology stack for tracking pitch-by-pitch data that includes pitch type, location, and velocity. It also tracks defensive positioning. All this data is put into a database and put onto their own data center, again, with servers utilizing Microsoft operating system and database servers. So San Francisco Giants executive Larry Baer said the sport is going down a path that is a byproduct of very smart people figuring out the best strategies to win. But it's up to the owners to say what the impact on the consumers are watching. This is not a new occurrence, but over the past 30 years of games, they've been longer and the pace of play slower. So in 1987, the average game was 2 hours and 46 minutes. This year's average was 3 hours and 5 minutes.
So, I mean, that's a 20-minute difference? 30-minute difference?
Yeah.
That's not that large of a difference. I mean,
especially in baseball.
Yeah. And it's not like anyone's ever confused baseball with being a quick and fast-paced sport ever.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? And this is why I think it's a cause for concern. So, do you know what the average age of a baseball fan is? 57.
Old.
Yeah. Yeah, considerably old, yes. But only 7% of baseball fans, this stat I'm not too crazy about, but only 7% of baseball fans are between the ages of 2 and 17. This puts baseball closer to horse racing, which is at 5%, and I believe horse racing is a dead sport.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
Now, basketball is at 11%. Basketball, I'm sure you would agree, Alex, is a growing sport.
Yeah.
And baseball has hired more data scientists than any other. And I know there's a lot of data to sift through, but let me just give you the results of one game in particular that was one of the highlights of this report.
And Paula, really quick, where was all of this data from?
Fangraphs.com.
Fangraphs.com, okay.
Yeah. So the Tampa Bay Rays played a 3 hour and 51-minute game against the New York Yankees this July. It was a 9-inning game. But was stopped 6 times in the middle of the inning for a pitching change. There are more strikeouts and walks than balls in play. There were more strikeouts, which the balls in play occurred 5 minutes and 47 seconds in between. So that's a really long time.
You know who's happy with those delays, though? Advertisers. Isn't that where the MLB gets their money from? Those are all commercial breaks. That's all money.
Yeah, I mean these
TV
deals are set in place for the next 10 years, so nothing's really going to change. But I do agree that the pace of play is really, really glacial.
Well, okay, so I'm going to argue this from the only non-baseball fan here, because I mean I've always found baseball to be glacial and slow and unexciting.
What?
But
No.
hey, that's me. But if you look at just this World Series, there have been 58 runs in 5 games, 22 of which are home runs. And I don't think anyone can argue that this isn't fun, even a non-baseball fan like me. It is a fun World Series to watch.
It's been a fantastic
But
World Series.
you're talking 5 games
Yeah.
over 162 games multiplied by 30 teams.
But this is the only thing people are going to remember. people are going to think it's all worth it when you get to the World Series and have one of the most memorable ones in years. And like you look at the ratings, just in particular, Sunday night's ratings for Game 5 were better than Sunday Night Football. And that's huge.
And again, we always talk about how wouldn't you rather have a play being called right? And I mean, I'm very much in that camp. I would rather take an extra 5 minutes every game if it meant that every single call would be reviewed, but it'd be called right. You know, even not even just for baseball, either for hockey, for basketball, for soccer.
I think everybody wants the call to be right, but one of the big stats is the. You want to guess actually, since you didn't get the Eddie Goodell question, do you want to guess the average number of pitchers used in a game this year?
Probably I want to guess 7.
I'll say 6.
8.4, an all-time high.
Yeah, that is really high.
Wait, is that on one team or both teams? Both teams. Okay.
Oh.
So 30 years ago, the average was 5.8. So Moneyball has really changed the dynamic of the sport. And also, pitch tracking cameras are being used to get more accurate times for these relief pitchers. And they found that relief pitchers are slower in terms of throwing the ball than starters are. And they've had 2 years of a brand new system called StatsCast, made by Sports Vision of us, also based in Silicon Valley. And StatsCast uses 2 cameras to replicate the binocular vision of a human eye, and also uses cloud provider Amazon Web Services. Just want to throw that in.
Well, so I kind of want to expand this, because if you think about just technology in general to these sports, last week we talked about Noah basketball. And that's just really cool stats. And even you go 2 weeks ago when Mandy and I debated video replay, it's all I agree with video replay that maybe it goes too long and maybe it's a little excessive, but you put restrictions on it. And we talked about how if you limit video replay to they have to make the decision within 120 seconds, then you kind of solve that problem. Because I totally agree that if you can't fix a call within 120 seconds, then you let it stand. If it
or have
requires,
it only used for goals or hits or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for the most extreme cases or something like that. So I think it kind of goes with this too. The game's slower now, but as proven now, this is winning so many baseball fans over. You just look at social media around the World Series and how much fun people are having.
Right, now that people are actually able to see these stats on their own, right? When you watch a game and you clearly see an umpire call a strike a ball when it was very clearly a strike, and you can see that with the strike counter that you were just talking about, Paolo. That's just super frustrating as a fan, and I would rather wait 2 minutes for them to make sure that that was wrong. It should have been a strike.
Okay, so the MLB is considering a pitch clock, a 12-second pitch clock, for the 2018 season. Given all this data on how slow the game is, would you be for it?
What do you mean by that, though, between when they get the ball back in their hand and actually throw it again?
So when the pitch is delivered, right, and let's say it's called a strike, because if it's in play, obviously,
right,
that would be unfair to start
only
the clock
20
again.
seconds to run.
So if it's called strike or a ball, at that moment, the pitch clock starts, 12 seconds, the ball is thrown back to the pitcher. He can start rubbing it up and looking for signs, but he has to throw it within 12 seconds.
I don't hate that. I like the idea behind it. This is the thing. I don't watch enough baseball to know if 12 seconds is a good amount of time.
That seems really short.
It is short because, I used to count. I don't do it anymore. I used to count between pitches. It was way over 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I
you
mean,
have 2 pitches per minute.
Okay, so but this is the thing. What is if you have to? I think you have to look at the average now. If the average pitch, time between a pitch right now is let's say 45 seconds, then 15 seconds is just dramatic. That's just a dramatic shift. But if you make it under 20 seconds,
or maybe even just 30 seconds, that 15-second difference might be enough for some people.
The reason why I like 12 seconds is because for fans, everyone has to pay attention. Because that's one of the problems with baseball, right? Fans don't pay attention because, they'll chit-chat because there's so much inactivity, right? And sports is about activity, let's face it. And this is similar to the NFL play clock or the CFL play clock. 20 seconds in the CFL, 40 in the NFL. You got to get a play underway or else you're just going to waste the clock out.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it, but I think 12 seconds is way too short. Depending on what it is now,
I don't have an opinion on the amount of time, but I like the idea.
Yeah, not bad. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we haven't solved We haven't come to an agreement on if baseball's slower because of Moneyball.
We'll agree to disagree.
I can agree that baseball has always been slow. That's my final statement.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Tech and Sports. You can find me at Paulo CDN. Alex, where can they find you?
At Alex T. Radu on the Twitters.
Mandy?
I am Mandy V. Kovacs, also on the Twitters.
Also want to encourage you to check out more Tech and Sports content on itbusiness.caa. Go to our sports page, and that's where you'll find us. For Alex Radu, Mandy Kovacs, I'm Paul Dunny-Bledo. Thank you for listening.